Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, today is a very important session because I took the time. We will go over this in way more details and figures next month, but things are changing and things are changing rapidly. And for us to be in a place where we are not too overwhelmed, not too stressed about what's coming, I wanted to make sure that we have this session together where we can maybe exchange, where we can maybe talk about certain things, where we can talk about the things that are maybe holding you back. Wherever you are right now in your business, whether you are starting your business, whether you have been in business for years, whether you have started a few years ago, and you see that there is a shift, or you're starting to become fearful, or you start to worry, or you start to ask yourself some questions. This is the moment where I think we need to put those questions down. And I'm going to move quite fast in the first part of this presentation and interaction with each other. And I want to also thank you very much for those who have taken the time to answer the questionnaire. We have sent you a questionnaire, and replay people, if you haven't done that yet, please go and fill out the questionnaire that we have sent you in an email and that we have put in the chat, because it really helps us to figure out where you are exactly. With some of you, with the visionaries, I am in much more direct contact, so I kind of know where you stand. But all the other members, unless you send me an email or unless you get back to our emails, I don't really know exactly what it is that is happening in your mind right now and in your industry or in your area. I've prepared a short presentation, and I'm going to run through it just so that you see where we're heading. Is anybody already having a burning question at their fingertips that they need to cover before we get started? Or can you put it in the chat, or can you hold on to it so you don't forget it? Because often, as I'm going to take you through this next presentation, you may have other things that are going to pop up in your mind, and you're going to go like, oh yeah, I need to ask this, I need to ask that. So get a pencil and a paper ready and write down questions, observations that you may have as we go along through that short presentation of you understanding what industry you are in right now. I give you a little example. My husband is in the banking system, and he's been an economist and a wealth manager for the past literally 30 years. And the job he got himself into 30 years ago as a wealth manager and risk analyst is not at all the same as it is today. The banking system has changed massively. The clients are still there. The fears, the worry, and the doubts of the clients and the needs are still the same. But the industry and the rules of the games have massively changed. And what I am noticing right now, specifically those last 6 months, is that the rules of the games in Pilates have changed. And unless you are aware of those changes and you choose your clear positioning of where you want to stand and how you want to stand in the industry, you may be overwhelmed, or you may start to worry and start to be fearful about what may happen in the years and the months to come. No one knows. If I had a little ball here and I could tell you what's going to happen, I have no idea what's going to happen. But what I do know is that we are animals that have been very well domesticated, but we still have instincts. And those instincts help us anticipate. We feel that something's going to happen. We feel that there is a shift. And the animal in me is telling me, Eva, you better prepare and anticipate. Just like our postural muscles are anticipating and are helping us to be always ready for the unforeseen. So this presentation is about opening up to the potential unforeseen that you may not be aware of in today's market in the Pilates industry. Please let me know if you all see the presentation. Yeah? Okay, good. So the next era is literally ahead of us with what's coming. And that means that basically leadership, visibility, and our standards are basically changing. And this is the focus of the inner circle in the next year that's ahead of us starting in July. The one thing that is clear is that something has changed. Right now in the industry, things are changing. And sorry to say it this way, but some new fish are jumping in the pond, and they're having a great deal of fun doing Pilates in brand new studios that are so well marketed, that are so well branded, with, I would say, minimal education, but it works. And for the first time, competence and excellence does not sell anymore. Something else does. And we have to be aware of that. And those new fish are literally the smartest fish out there because they have understood that there is a market gap in our industry, and they made Pilates fun, sexy, trendy, and fashionable again. Something we have not been able to do, being overly rigid, overly proper, overly correct, overly deep. I'm not saying we should not do that. I'm just saying that there was a gap in the market, and those young teachers who have the minimal education but enough to be okay have literally taken a big part of the cake. And unless we understand where we are situated now with our competence or with our brand or with who we are or what we want to show up as, we might get lost in what we call the current noise. So please know that the game has changed. The rules of the game has changed in Pilates. I don't know how long it's going to last, but we're probably in for that for at least 2 to 5 years. Any trend lasts 2 to 5 years. So the Pilates industry is literally splitting again. In the past, it was contemporary versus classical. Now it's trend versus transformation. Trend means it's new, it's exciting, it's aesthetics, it's immediacy right away, and it's entertainment. Those studios are beautiful, those studios entertain, they even put music on there, and they make Pilates fun. Now, the other side is the transformational side. We create depth, we create care, we create intelligent movement, we're here for the long run, talking about longevity, and we are creating real changes for people who are truly committed. So again, like always, the Pilates industry is about to be split again. And we have fought classical, contemporary, we are the real ones, you are the fake ones, for almost 20 years. And I really hope that you will be part of those teachers out there who are not going to split the industry again, literally seeing the new trend as something bad. It's actually something extremely wonderful because it forces us to up-level our standards, to up-level our game when it comes to our business skills and our marketing skills. And they are really pushing us to be as good in our branding, in our presence, in how we show up as they are. Because whether we like it or not, they show up the way they have decided to show up in the industry, and they go for it. And they have a clear, irresistible offer. They have a beautiful branding, literally from the mats to the socks to the flowers. Everything is literally in harmony, in order, and it sells. And hopefully we find a way, as experienced teachers in the inner circle, most of you are, or at least you want to become an experienced teacher if you're brand new in the industry, because you are teachers of meaning. You're teachers who want to make a difference, not for the sake of being impactful, not for the sake of being important, but for the sake of contribution. You truly are in the industry, and if you're in the inner circle, this is one of your main values in life. You are valuing growth, and you are valuing contribution. And you want to do it with meaning. You want to do it so that it makes sense. And that is really what will differentiate us massively from what's happening right now. But we can pull those people on board over time, and we can show that there is also another way to evolve without it being scary and without it being boring. Once you understand that the trend has changed, that further, deeper caring is not so much trendy anymore, you understand that you may have to change a few things. And basically, trendy studios sell today. It's excitement, it's aesthetics, it's immediacy right away, and it's entertainment, as I told you before. The deep studios, the experienced studios, the real studios, they want depth, they want intelligence, they want longevity, they want transformation. And unless you are very clearly stating that in your website, in the way you show up, in your communication, you might go under in the noise. Either you're on one side or you're on the other side, or on your own side, knowing exactly who you are. And yet, so many low competence studios market better than any high quality studio. Today, more than ever, the most unexperienced teachers will probably for the next 6 to 12 months do very, very well business-wise, even though they don't really know what they're doing. This is the first time that I would say a lack of competence is not an issue in the industry to do well for oneself. So this is not the time, please, this is not the time where I want you to go and fetch the next workshop, go and fetch the next training, go and fetch the next event, just so that you have more competence, feeling that you will be more legitimate. Because right now, more competent and more legitimate doesn't necessarily sell right now. What sells is knowing who you are, what you're offering, and standing very clearly with that. So the self, yourself, and your business skills is what's going to be the most important in the next 6 months to 2 years, and not your technique. Now, I'm not saying you don't need to be technically well formed and trained, and you need to understand what you're doing. But I'm saying that if you only focus on that, by the time you are well prepared technically, you've already missed the train because others have overtaken you. And why is that right now the case? Because simply excellence without visibility becomes invisible. Today, if you are not visible in one form or another, if you do not have some sort of a voice, whatever that voice is you choose to have, you will become invisible. And if you become invisible, no one will be able to find you. Today, people need to be able to find you, or you try to find your clients. Or if you're an established teacher, you may want to, I say it, do a spring cleaning and make sure you keep the clients that are most aligned with your values and where you are heading. And you find them maybe a solution with someone else if this is not the case anymore. And you need to prepare your clients for that if you are making a spring clean. The next part that's very important is that we believed if we are good enough, people will find us. But today, that's not the case anymore. It's not about being good enough. It's about being clear enough, because clarity wins. You need to be super simple and super clear on what it is that you're offering, what it is that makes you different and unique, what is your, what we call an unfair advantage. So the visibility is going to be the greatest skill you're going to have. And it must be intentionally built. You must build yourself a visibility, a vision, a brand, an identity that is going to be recognized out there. So branding and the self, yourself, is going to be the most important part that I want to be challenged with for the next year in the inner circle. Because otherwise, we're just doing stuff. You've had enough stuff for the past 2 years. You've had enough content. You've had enough opportunities to get more skillful, to be more confident with doing self-development and a journey of your own. You've had more and more formulas and business acumens that have been covered in the last 6 to 8 months for you to have a clear vision where you're heading. Now, if you want to really make this stick and make this work, we need to do the work. We need to implement that, and we need to make it stick. And we need to make it stick more than ever with who you are. This is the part we have not necessarily had to stress so much last year. It was more about understanding that business is accelerating and we need to be in the game. Now it's not just accelerating, it's really about also being very clear on what it is that makes you different. So silence is no longer humility. It clearly is invisibility. And today, you have to go out there, whether you like it or not, to show your face. And I know this is not so easy for some of you, but unless you show up, you will become invisible and people will not find you. Even today, people don't search on Google anymore. People search on AI. It was so funny. One of my clients was searching for some answers with AI. And then she asked ChatGPT. And ChatGPT gave her some answers. She didn't like the answers, so she went to Claude. So she went to Claude and asked Claude. Claude gave her some made-up answer and she told Claude, "You're wrong, this is not right. Okay, you know what? Let's go back to old, confident Google," she said to me. And I so laughed because she went back to Google to ask, based on reference, based on sources, what was their answer. But today, people are going on AI to find you. So unless you start to also be more and more in tune with the artificial intelligence and you create yourself an identity on the artificial intelligence, the artificial intelligence will make up any shit about you. When I started AI a year and a half ago, the funniest part was when I Googled AI myself, it made up some crazy shit about me. I'm like, this is wrong. I had to teach AI, this is not true, this is not it, this is me, this is me, this is me. And then I had to start feeding AI so that when people now go and Google me or AI me, they have pretty much 80% proper information about what I do and what I stand for. Because that's how today people are asking questions. And they don't trust what is true. They trust what they're being given. They don't even question anymore. People are not interested in facts anymore. People are interested in getting the information that they want now. And unless we have enough exposure of what we do now, we will potentially miss out on being visible. And this is what we need to work on, particularly in the next year, so that people find you and you don't have to go and find people. So this is not about you becoming louder. That was very clear when we did the social media with Char. This is about you becoming unmistakably clear with who you are and what you will offer in the month and in the years to come, adjusting it continuously. So your difference is not your weakness today. In the past, it may have been, we wanted to melt with the crowd. But today, it is truly your survival advantage and your biggest one. Because the world your clients are living in right now is overwhelming, is disconnecting, is fearful, it's exhausting, and it's more than ever uncertain. People are facing constantly the fact that they're overwhelmed, disconnected, fearful, exhausted, and uncertain about themselves, about the world, about their job. And this is truly the clients we are facing 80 to 90% of your week. And more than ever, we are spring here in Europe right now. The clients who've come to us this whole last month are so highly nervous, so highly strong, so insecure, and so retracting because there is something in the air, something is changing. And we know that the majority of people are afraid of change. When it is the one thing that you can be certain of, everything in life changes. Nothing doesn't change. Nothing stays the same. So this is the only real certainty we have, and yet we are fighting against it. We are trying to freeze about it. And this is the part where you need to help your clients. Because unless you become the place where you are clear and absolutely sure of the values you stand for, people will not feel safe. People will not find that certainty in your studio with you, and they will not have that connection where they can just leave their things and their guards down and just be themselves and become even more than what they are today. And this is the part I think it's very important that you don't misunderstand. This was not the case 2 years ago, but it really is now more than ever. We have never had so many changes in schedules and cancellations. And I mean, we play Tetris all day with clients and with group classes, filling, unfilling. I mean, it is exhausting. And we can see there is a massive shift, at least in Europe there is for sure. And I'm sure it's somewhere else in the world, it must not be that different. And clients are no longer only buying Pilates. Please, no, people don't come to you for Pilates. They believe Pilates is the element, Pilates is the key, but they really come for something else. They come for something far deeper. They come for being certain. They want safety in an uncertain world. They believe it's safe to come to you. They need trust. They need a guide that they can believe in. Remember, they can believe. They need to believe what you're telling them. They don't even look at your certification. They don't do their homework. They just believe what they read. You need leadership. They need leadership because they need the direction that they are after so that they don't feel lost in your hands, in your studio, with your guidance. And they need more than ever belonging. They need to be part of an ecosystem, part of a community, part of a group that has shared purpose, shared values. You are like me, I am like you. And of course, they're not going to say it, but they are deeply longing for transformation. Real, lasting change that doesn't feel scary. That's the main thing, to not be scared about the change. So today, you are not just a Pilates teacher anymore. You really have to incarnate something more. And the something more means that you need to become a facilitator or a guide, or the teachers need to become catalysts. You might become a partner of trust. You want to become a leader if that's part of your identity. You will become an optimizer. You will become a stabilizer, making things sure, or you become an amplifier, helping people do more. You are so much more than just a Pilates teacher at this stage of the industry. And people more than ever seek environments, ecosystem, places that pull them forward, not push them, pull them forward. Not just workouts, but a real ecosystem, an environment that you and your studio are creating for them. And the way you show up, the way you are communicating about that ecosystem, about the story behind what you're doing, is the most important marketing tool you will have to attract. Remember, marketing is attracting them. And if your communication, your voice is very clear, you'll attract the right people at the right time. And you have to more than ever be brave enough, bold enough to just try to communicate whatever is the clearest to who you are right now and see what happens, and constantly adjust and adjust and adjust and adjust. So don't think it's, I do my website once and it's done. Now you're going to have to keep investing in your website, keep investing in your communication, keep showing up with more and more clarity. It's not happening in one time. It happens as you go, and you become more and more confident to be who you are no matter what. And you're going to be more than ever confident to tell clients, you know what? I am not for you anymore. I'm going this way. You are very invited to follow. And I'm very much happy to pull you with me. But this is where I'm heading, because this is where I am going to be the best for you. Do you want to follow? You don't want to follow. And this is really where we're heading. And with that said, you have to understand, like I just said, that marketing is the most important part of your business right now. And marketing is not manipulation. The goal is not to sell some story or some offer or some promise like it's happening right now. But it does sell, don't get me wrong. But we want to do it so that you're attracting the right people so they can finally find you easily through AI, through Google, through social media, through whatever, through emails, through whatever source of communication you choose to do. And we know today that in the past, you needed 3 different channels and post around 5 times. Today, you need to post 16 times. You need to have 16 exposures with over 5 different channels for people to eventually see you in the noise. And you just one post in millions and millions and millions of posts every day. So unless you go out there boldly, courageously, and with purpose, it will not necessarily stick. And you don't need thousands of followers. You just need maybe 100 who are truly resonating with you. Because in the end, how many clients can you take? You can take maybe 15 to 20 clients or 25 clients. You really only need 25 clients to do really well. Really well. And anything on top of that can be scalable. But if you have 25 clients who come once a week or come twice a week, you are working 25 to 50 hours. That's a lot of income with clients who really like you and you really like them. And this is a partnership for life. This is longevity business. And this is where we need to head. Not thousands of followers, thousands of likes to feel important. Because that's the weakness, in a sense. That's the weakness and at the same time the strength of all these new studios, because they do it to be significant. They do it to feel important. But everybody needs to be important at one stage in their lives, at one stage in their day. So all we need to do is to make sure we acknowledge the people we have. We give them certainty, confidence. We give them connection. We give them real meaning. And we contribute to their well-being on a continuous basis. And you have them in your pocket. And they have you in their pocket. They are sure that you're always going to be there to help them be their best. And then branding is not superficiality anymore. Branding is you being clear about what it is you stand for. And visibility is not vanity anymore. Visibility is service. If you are not visible, people cannot find you. If they cannot find you, you will not attract the right kind of clients. So you can not only be a great Pilates teacher anymore at this stage in the game, you must become also a great business owner. You need to start investing time in your business and do the things that need to be done. And if you don't do them, you have to find someone who does it for you. Because at one point, you cannot scale any further your business unless you spend time on your business and not in your business. So great teachers today, they change bodies, okay? Great business owners, they change now ecosystems. You are now in a place where you're not just creating business to do better numbers. You are starting to create a business that is creating an environment for you, your team, and your clients that is safe to come back to always and always and always. You are going to be the partner of trust. And in a world where trusting becomes more and more difficult, being that incarnation is your greatest asset to have. And you are all here, live or in replay, teachers who have integrity. Because you're here because you're investing in yourself. You're investing in your growth. You want to do it properly. You want to do it well so that it serves clients well. You don't do it for the sake of the money. You don't do it for the sake of the fame. You don't do it for superficial reasons. You do it because most of you, as far as I know, have a calling. You are called to be of help and of service. And the biggest challenge in this, and I know some of you feel that, is to not go under yourself being so nice and so likable to everybody else. And if you go under in the noise, it's because you're not clear enough, you're not aligned enough with what you stand for. And the quality of your life is also determined by the no's you have to give to some people, not only the yeses. The no is just as important as the yes. So basically, if you want to create an ecosystem now as a business owner, you will need to start to understand that you cannot make this alone. A business owner is someone who is working in partnership, in collaboration with others. Otherwise, you're an independent. If you're an independent, you do it all by yourself. But you are plateauing at a certain amount of money and you will have a certain ceiling that you hit very fast. So the future belongs right now to those business owners who understand the power of communities. Choose your community, find the one that suits you best. Understand that you are creating an environment, an ecosystem, that you are in collaboration with others and your clients, that you have very aligned networks and partnership, that you are surrounding yourself with a close inner circle. That's why we called it inner circle of people who are understanding you, are pulling you forward, who are not keeping you small. Same for your clients. And you have shared standards. You share the similar or same vision. And most importantly, you have shared honorable values. So the next era of Pilates in the next 6 months to 5 years, I believe, will require a lot of courage, positioning, visibility, standards, business intelligence, and resilience. Why courage? Because you will need to stand out with conviction. You'll have to be proud out there and say who you are. You're going to have to position yourself so that you are being seen with precision, that people can find you clearly. You're going to have to become more and more visible so that you can serve at your full capacity with the right people finding you. You're going to have to set standards. You're not for everybody anymore. I'm very clear. I'm changing the studio standards in the next 3 months. We are not going to be for everybody anymore. And we're going to lead with a lot of integrity and a very clear, purposeful story. And we're going to have business intelligence. We have to understand the game and the rules of business today. And we want to build something that can last and that you can as well last with, not something that burns you along the way. And the most important part, you have to be resilient. You have to stay on course. And even if you fall on your nose or on your ass, I'm sorry to say it, you need to get back up. You have to be okay to be that little kid who is learning to walk for the first time, who keeps getting up, falling down, getting up, falling down. You laugh, you cry, and you keep going. It won't maybe work the first go, but eventually you will walk, eventually you will stand, eventually you will run. And this is where we're heading. So right now, so that you understand where this is all going, we want to make sure that the inner circle in year number 3 is not going to be another year of consuming more content. For those who want content, those who want minimal investment, for those who don't want that things change, we're keeping things as they are. We don't push you out. We don't drag you forward. We're just telling you it's okay to go over the content again, because repetition is the mastery of all skills. But those who want to be pulled forward, those who want to move forward and start to do things about the content that you've learned in the last 2 years, you've been exposed to in the last 2 years, we're going to start doing customized preparation. We're going to prepare content not based on the rules of the games, but on the rules that you need to implement in your business. We're going to anticipate and prepare what you need as a group and each individually as well, because you're not all in the same area, in the same business, with the same kind of clients. So we need to customize. Year 3 is for those who want to customize what they have learned or what they have been exposed to. And then we're going to integrate it. We're going to apply what you need to do. We're not just going to talk about it and be inspired about it. We are actually going to make sure that 1 to 3 actions are being done every month. I'm holding you accountable as a group, and I'm holding you even more accountable as an individual if I'm working with you privately. And then we're going to start to truly embody our ownership of business, our ownership of identity, our ownership as a teacher. So we are becoming who we must become so that we can build the life that we have envisioned and the life that we dream of. So now I'm not saying we're getting serious, but we're going to stop just talking about things. I'm going to stop empowering you with knowledge. I'm going to have to start empowering you with actions. So unless we take actions now, we are going to fall back and we're going to blend in the noise. And we're going to go under in the noise. And this is not what I want for you. But for some people, you might need to stay in the back. You might need to go over things again and just ask me questions when you have them, and I'm there available for you to answer them. But those who want to truly make a change in their business and have a perspective on longevity as a business owner, you need to start taking actions. And any entrepreneurship that scales beyond, I would say, a certain amount of money needs a team. I know that I can get you easily to 100 or 200,000 income a year on your own. Implementing the formulas. All the formulas on the content, you have it in the inner circle. We've covered it for 2 years. We've done the big chunks the first year, and then we went more clear and more precise, going over the most important parts of the first year in a more condensed version with taking actions, at least putting them on paper. Now, I don't know if you've done them or if you haven't done them, but it's in your paper. You have it ready. Now, a year later, fast forward, things may have changed. You may want to have to go over this again. But the goal is really that you understanding that you have to constantly anticipate, constantly be in action. And the minimum of action is you do 1 thing per month. The maximum will be 3 things. So light commitment is 1 action. Medium commitment is 2 action. High commitment is, or full commitment is 3 actions. Every month, we're going to move 3 actions at a time. So in a year, you will have done a lot of things on your to-do list, but only the things that truly matter to your business. We're not doing things for the sake of doing things. My goal is not to make you a busy business owner. I want you to become a meaningful business owner, doing the things that really move the needle. And please don't do it alone. If I am there for you and with you, so that we're at least two already. And then my team is behind you as well to help you with this. Or you might find a team of your own who helps you with your scalability. But anything past 200,000 a year needs a team. You need to delegate. You cannot delegate if you do more than 200,000 a year. You know that around 100 to 150,000, you're becoming busy. And until you get to 100,000, I'm sorry to say, you have to get busy. We need to get you busy until you get to your 100,000. But busy in a smart way, not in a way that you burn out with the wrong clients and the wrong offers where you are not charging what you're worth. That has to change, because otherwise you're just busy for the sake of it. So this is basically the values and the strategy and the plan that we have as the Innovative Virtual Academy for the Inner Circle Year 3. So we are taking those who want to become visionaries into taking actions. And if you don't take the action, for God's sake, I'm taking the action for you. At least one. I'll take at least one action every month for you. And if you're with me privately, because you're investing more and you want more, we're having at least 3 done every month. So this year you have to become, if you want to move the needle, more visible, more strategic, more courageous, and unmistakably aligned with who you are today. I know today, when I started the Inner Circle, that I wanted to be available to everybody. I wanted to make sure that every teacher in need can join the Inner Circle and has an opportunity to shift perspective, has access to enough content so that I can make a change happen. But I realize that I am a very intense business owner. I'm a very intense coach. I'm a very intense Pilates teacher, because I don't take no for an answer. If you say no to me, I want to know why. If you say yes to me, I want to know why. I like to go behind the scenes and figure out what it is that is truly happening right now with everything that's going on in your life, in your business, or in my clients' lives, or in their body. I'm not doing things halfway. And I will not let you do things halfway. If you work with me on a more intense level, you know we're gonna make change happen. I mean, there is no question about it. And if you don't change it, I'll change it with you and for you. But I will keep pulling you. And I've learned to not be pushy on you anymore unless I see that it is needed. But I'm a very pulling force. I'm a horse. I'm a real horse. And we are in the year of the horse on top of that. So I'm going to keep galloping along the way. And I'm going to have you gallop on me or with me or next to me. But I know also today that I'm not for everybody. I am not the right person to partner with if you want to cry on my shoulder for a year. You can always cry on my shoulder. You can always come and tell me that things are difficult and things are hard and you don't know how it's working. And I'll be listening and I'll be there to support you. But at one point I'm picking you up and say, okay, can we move on now? Because I cannot help you if you're in that state. I cannot help you if you're angry at the industry. I cannot help you if you're angry at new teachers. I cannot help you. I need to shift your perspective, and either you coming along or at one point you stay in that mindset. And today, clearly, unless you are willing to be brave and to come forward and allow me and the team to help you, then we might not be a match anymore. Then maybe the Inner Circle just behind the scenes, and when you have questions, you come and you let me know, is the right answer. Maybe you want to keep your business as it is, and you just want some insights here and there. Whatever it is that you're after, you need to really ask yourself the question, if the Inner Circle and I, Eva, am the right fit for you for the next year. And be okay to say, no, I'm not. One of my teachers said to me, you know what? I realized I really want to go in a different route. I really want to do more functional things. I want to educate my clients about how operational and functional and genius there are in their body, and I don't really relate to Pilates anymore. I'm done with Pilates, and this is not my tribe anymore. I said, great. I'm so happy you know that you need to change ecosystems, you need to change environments with a different language so that you can become that next version. And I'm glad I took you this far for 2 years and that now you're changing ecosystem. But please make sure you change ecosystem. Don't stay alone. Please go to another place where you feel that you can be seen, heard, and understood. Just promise me you don't do it alone. Because if you keep staying alone, you are an independent. And independent is a very lonely road. And loneliness is the biggest heavy feeling that someone can carry doing business. And whatever you choose as an ecosystem or as a tribe or as a group or as a client base, make sure it is one that is of meaning and of resonance with you. And maybe one day the inner circle or I am not that one, and that's perfectly okay. So the world does not need more noise. It needs leaders, people who know clearly who they are and what they stand for, who are willing to stand for something real. And real means something that is of use. And the beautiful part is I was not supposed to go to a diploma reunion of one of my clients' daughter. My client asked me to come to her home, prepare her and make her be less nervous in her body to be able to be prepared for this very important event, which is her daughter finally graduates and she has her diploma. And she's like, I want you to be next to me because I need to be calm because this is stressing me and da da da. I said, oh, okay, I'll come with you and I'll help you. And I sat in this diploma conference, gathering, whatever you want to call it, graduation. And there is this gentleman who stood up and gave a speech. And the speech started about, he said to the kids, okay, the biggest question you guys all ask probably now that you're 18 is, are you going to be rich? And I was like, oh, where is this heading? Where is this thing going? And then he turned around. It's not about being rich. It's not about being successful. It's about having meaning and being of use, being useful. The biggest gift one can have in life, to be wealthy and to feel rich in your heart, is to be of use. And this is basically you being a leader today. How much of use, how useful, how much of help can you be simply being yourself? This is the biggest gift you bring to the industry today and you bring to your clients. And the goal is that as long as I can be useful to you and your development, we're going to be happy partners. We're going to be happy in the ecosystem. But if for whatever reason suddenly I'm not useful anymore, have the freedom to say it and to pull out and find something else that is more useful to you. But really, I hope we can and you can create an ecosystem with your clients and your studio that is of immense use and of immense help, because that is what will make you the happiest and the most fulfilled as a Pilates teacher. Believe me, a full agenda, a lot of money on your bank account, a busy schedule, a beautiful studio will not make you feel fulfilled and happy on the long run. But being of use, being helpful, being of meaning, for greater good, for a greater outcome, for a better world, that will. Because it's a spiritual calling that is moving you. It is not a mental or an ambition. Mental ambitions are taking you this far, but they do not in the end make you truly happy. And I want you to be as happy as you can and as joyful as you can with the business you're creating. So we're going to have now an interactive session. We're going to end this presentation very soon with what is holding you back. Ask yourself this question. Name what is keeping you from the next level. Do you feel there is a next level? Do you feel that there is something that is calling you? Is there something pulling you? Or is there something pushing you? Or is there something freezing you? And you keep pulling back. You want it, but you're pulling back. What is holding you back right now? Are you sensing something similar that I am sensing? Are you sensing something completely different that I'm not even aware of because I don't have your sensitivity? Is it maybe a place right now in your business or with yourself where you live friction? Is it in the fact that there is friction in your visibility, in your positioning, in your leadership, in the boundaries you set, in the retention, in the direction you're heading, the confidence you may have, the pricings you have, the team you're surrounding yourself with, maybe the marketing that you have or that you don't have yet, maybe the way you grow or the way you don't grow, maybe the energy you're in right now, your mindset, your values, your wishes, your dreams. Is there any friction somewhere right now? For me, clearly right now, boundaries is a big one. I'm creating boundaries because by making myself available to so many clients and to so many possibilities and to so many teachers, I have literally burned out. 3 weeks ago, I burned out. And I burned out to a place not where my body gave in and I got sick, to a place where really my spirit, my energy, my life force was so low. For the first time in my life, I got fearful. I got scared. And I'm not the scared type. I have been in the past. I have been as a young girl. But that young girl has come up from nowhere and was so afraid. And for the first time, I had to say, you know what? I may have to say no again. I may have to go to a place where this is how I'm doing it. And maybe I'm not for everybody. Maybe I'm not going to be as much available as I would like to be. And I'm going to be doing this in a different format. So right now, for me, my friction of moving forward was boundaries. It's creating an ecosystem that has a certain framework that does not burn me and that I don't let burn me. But I need to be clear on how far I can be of help and how far I need you to take on your own leadership. I cannot lead you unless you lead yourself as well. So this was my conclusion. That's why we took a different turn these last 2 months as well with the inner circle, because otherwise I couldn't show up the way I wanted to show up. So what keeps circling back? Right now for you, what keeps circling back in your own business or in your own mind or in your own practice or in your own studio? Because every recurring business problem actually reveals an identity problem. If I have no boundaries in business, I have no boundaries with myself. I don't respect the framework that actually supports me. So in the end, I don't respect myself. I don't respect my own limitations for my own well-being. I override it. And why? Because I'm in a position where suddenly I become fearful and then I become survival and then I think everything has to happen. It's silly, it's stupid. But also, I also have to understand that I've been in a community like you are with me, where I've been pulled and I've been mentored for quite some time. The last year I pulled out. I made the choice of pulling out of that community and to just go a little quiet because I needed that time. I needed that space. But I had no one who challenged my perspective. So I just kept doing what I'm doing, circling around, going back to my old overdoing, being over busy. Because no one said, Eva, no. Because I chose to pull out and I'm back in it now. For the past 3 months, I'm back into this community and I get them, no, Eva, now we're going this way, now we're doing that, no, be careful. Because once you're in it yourself, we don't have that outer view. And I have the luxury with you guys to be that person who sees from the outside what you might not see being in it. And I underestimated that I needed to keep that intact for myself at a different pace, but that pulling back and pulling away from that community was actually having me fall back to my old habits, and I didn't even see it come. And then when it hit me, I was like, okay, Eva, here we are. Well, you were looking for that one, and I'm going to hopefully learn from it. So what I'm asking you is, what identity must evolve for your business now to evolve the way you want it to evolve? Whether you want to downsize it and make it more special, whether you want to upsize it and make it more available, whether you want to make it more exclusive, whatever it is, what it is that you need to become. How can we support that identity, that new business identity in your studio and with your practice and with your technique so that we can evolve in the most respectable way that respects your boundaries and your dream? So different is no longer your weakness. Being okay to be different is your greatest asset. And being different means that you are okay to be brave and courageous, showing up as the Kaz, the Ivona, the Guri, the Audrey, the Christiane, the Aida, the Christelle, the Tijani, the Pierrick, the Ocean, the Claudia, all of you out there, the Lori, the Sarah, I mean, there's so many of you, the Nikki, who are your greatest asset. The one identity you choose to show up as is going to be your greatest identity. And for me right now, the inner circle is becoming a place, an ecosystem for teachers who refuse to become forgettable. I refuse for you to become a studio that people just forget about. And not to be important, but to be of impact and of real contribution. I hope that the studio you are going to embody and you're going to create further in the next year is a place where people are like, wow, I feel so wonderful every time I walk out of there. I'm being seen, I'm being understood, and I'm being truly, truly acknowledged. So year 3 is really the embodiment phase. I want you to live what you stand for. I want you to live what you believe in. I want you to live the success you deserve. And there is really a next era ahead of us. This is what has been on my mind for the past 2 months, with also the setbacks I've had and the challenges and the fears I was facing as a business owner, understanding and realizing, and I mentioned it to you already 2 or 3 sessions ago, that I really hope for the inner circle to become an ecosystem now. Not just a tribe or a community of people getting together, talking about things, and me talking at you and lecturing you or mentoring you. I really don't like the mentor. I don't identify with mentor at all. I identify more as a partner. I want this to go to another level, where we can be true, where we can be vulnerable, where we can come and put our fears on the table, and where not just me, but with each other, we can really help each other. And that the inner circle, for those who want to become more leading forces and creative forces in the industry, can really do it as a team and as a collective force. I truly believe more than ever, the inner circle is moving into a collective force for those very distinct teachers who want to be part of something greater and who are not afraid to invest more in them than what they have until now, because they will make it back. I mean, the moment you stand straight and you stay aligned and you find the right people, you are going to make the money that you wish and you deserve to make. And your problem will be, I'm sure, within the next 6 to 12 months that you have too many clients. And then you get to a point where, maybe like me, where we have to restructure it, or we have to create a team that takes more clients. You need someone who can help you, and you will have a team member. I mean, this is the most unfortunate situation I wish for you, is that you are being too busy and you need someone to help you. And then we need to find the right person who helps you. But if we truly start to network with each other, there might be a different turn in the inner circle. I'm opening up now the conversation. Any questions you have, any concerns you have, anything you would like to share and contribute now to this discussion. We have an hour together. And let's see how much we can brainstorm, how much we can start to truly interact with each other in a much more casual way, and see how this format works. And as I said, what interests me really is, what is your turn? What is your perspective? What is your thing that's holding you back right now? Is there fear? Is there worry? Is there doubt? Is there burnout? Is there fatigue? Is there excitement? Is there confusion? What is it that is animating you right now? Because these topics are going to be the heart of every month that we are moving forward together. If you want to give it a try, if you'd like to find out more to see if this is truly for you, then you can book a call with Eva. You can book a call with me. And by doing so, we will simply have a conversation. We will find out where you're at. And I will be absolutely brutally honest with you of what I can sense, what I can feel, and what could happen for you if you wanted to take this to the next level.